Hey guys, how are you doing? It's Catherine, and I wanted to make a short video to just talk about whether books are dead. Guys, what happened? I went away for 2 minutes from YouTube and I come back and I see all these scary faces and people saying low content books are dead, medium content books are dead, coloring books are dead, all the books, KDP is dead. And I know for a fact that's not true because we've been testing tangent templates because we made a new update. I've been making several books to upload to KDP to make sure that everything works okay. And one of the books that I created, and bear in mind, I didn't really do any research for this. This was just sort of an idea I had based on something I personally really like and am into. I created a book for it and I launched it at the end of January. And I just had 2-3 batches of sales. And by the end of March, I'd sold 89 copies of that book. 89 copies. I did no marketing. I didn't spend any advertising spend on that. I didn't talk to anyone about it. I just put it up on Amazon and it sold 89 copies. Now, I can't guarantee that your books will do the same, but I didn't make that many books and that was a pretty exciting result. It's not huge bucks, but at $3, I think I get $3.51 in royalties each time it sells. So that adds up. If you have a few books like that, that's some decent money in the bank. I know that books aren't dead. And what do I see in my Facebook group? And you guys are emailing me, messaging us. We see that books are doing fine. So I think there's some misconceptions about low content books, medium content books. I'm not actually sure what those things mean. Let me give you a quick history of low content books according to me, or from my understanding. So way back in the day, I think we're talking about 2016, 17, I used to go to Walmart, and this channel is called Treasure Hunting with Catherine because I used to just sell on FBA and Amazon, and I teach people how to sell on Amazon and FBA. And one of the things I was selling was composition books. I would literally drag Isaac there in the middle of the night to Walmart and buy composition books because often they were selling them for 25 cents before back to school because they'd buy so many of them. So I'd buy them, bundle them up, send them into Amazon, and they would sell. And what I noticed was that the composition books, or the notebooks, it was mostly composition books, the ones with pretty patterns, with images on the front, with neon colours, they always sold much better than the boring grey ones, like the Mead, the Norcom, those plain ones. I found that the coloured ones, or the pretty ones, would sell much better. So I had this idea of what if we publish these on KDP? Then we could actually put cool images on the front. And it worked great. We didn't have to go to Walmart anymore. And what we did was we gave out lined paper or a template for lined paper to the members of my Curate group. And people started creating these books and found, hey, they really work. And I guess someone along the lines called them low content books. It wasn't me. I didn't come up with the name low content books, but some YouTuber or someone named these low content books. So that was interesting. And what I learned from this is that people buy books for a reason. People need books for a reason. And I realized that actually there's much more you can do than lined paper. And they do look great. This is just a little notebook I made with KDP. And you can see the paper's really nice. You can write in there. It's a pretty good quality book. But I think there's a lot more you can create with KDP. And that's what we did with Tangent Templates. We added sheet music, graph, paper, and then just a whole bunch of other things, sort of story paper, calligraphy, all these things, which were as easy to make as lined paper. So we had a couple of interesting questions in our Facebook group recently. And one of those questions was about low content books. Someone said, with low content books, is it just about the cover? Is it really just about having a lined notebook and adding a pretty cover to it? And that question kind of made me really think, because I was like, no, that's absolutely not what it's about. It's not about just putting a cover on a journal. What it's about is the people. It's about the person who's going to buy your book. Everyone, when they go to Amazon to buy a book, they have a reason. There's a reason they're going to Amazon to look for a book. It could be, okay, I want to buy a birthday gift for my friend who really likes owls. So yeah, in that case, maybe they're just going to look up Owl Journal and look for the book with the prettiest picture of an owl on the cover. However, often people are buying a book for a particular reason. So one thing that's very popular at the moment is journaling for self-help and for self-care. Therapists, there's a lot of evidence that journaling is really good for your mental health. So a lot of therapists at the moment are recommending that people journal. So someone may well go to KDP or go to Amazon and look up a journal because their therapist has told them to journal about whatever issues they're dealing with. It could be depression, anxiety. It could be anxiety about a specific thing, like a relationship, or something like flying, a fear of flying, or public speaking. If you can create a book that will help someone solve that problem, and even better if you can make it look pretty and make it look interesting or have a different spin that no one else has come up with, you could have a really powerful book. People might go to Amazon and look for a book because they need it for practical reasons. Maybe they want to log the symptoms of an illness. And a lot of older people don't really like spreadsheets and computers. They'd rather write it in a book. Same with gardening. Maybe you want to keep track of what plants you've put in your garden. If you're on a trip, like a cruise, or you're traveling or on a train, maybe you don't want to open up your phone or your iPad. Maybe you just want to write in a book. So things like cruise journals and travel journals are great. I mean, adults still like to do sort of what I did on my vacation, what I did on my holiday. Another thing I see a lot in places like Barnes & Noble is family books. As I say, older people tend to like books. So I see a lot of things like grandma's memories, grandma's recipes. And I think those become really beautiful keepsakes if you have a book that a grandparent can write in or an older person can write in to keep memories. And sometimes older people especially, and not just older people, but some people want to keep track of things like their passwords or their contacts, like an address book. You might have a guest book for a hotel or for an Airbnb. There's so many reasons that people buy books. And the key thing is really to tap into those reasons. What is the reason someone's buying a book? Sometimes people want to work through something, a health problem, an addiction, an issue with their relationship, or maybe they want to write something, maybe they want to figure something out on paper. So in Tangent Templates, for example, we have the business napkin and we have mind maps because people, and we have vision boards as well, because people love to work things like that out on paper. And you have opportunities to customize this. Can you come up with a spin on a mind map or a vision board? There's a lot of different ways to put those things down. And that was the next thing I wanted to talk about, is that often with a book, it's about having a good idea. And I think that books will never be dead as long as you have good ideas, or any ideas. I mean, just an idea of how to do something a little differently. And if we look back over the last few years, I mean, you had Ryder Carroll came up with the bullet journal. Brilliant idea. It's done really, really well. There's people creating bullet journals. You got deals with all the big, I think Moleskine and all these big planner companies to create sort of versions of the bullet journal. Became hugely successful. Passion Planner. They raised $706,000 crowdfunding to fund the Passion Planner. Joanna Basford, amazingly well with her colouring books. And even close to home, I probably mentioned Sasha O'Hara a few times. She was in our group. She came up with sweary colouring books. Brilliant idea. Everyone was using colouring books as sort of relaxation, peaceful, gentle things. She put cuss words in there. Get that catharsis going. Get something out. And my friend Jordan as well. He did really well with horror colouring books. He ended up getting a deal with MST3. Oh, I can never say. It's the Mystery Science Theatre. His book was included in one of their bundles for one of their big reunions. Very successful. And what all these people have in common is they just had an idea. They did things a little bit differently. And if you can come up with a different spin on productivity or self-care, and we were talking about productivity in our Facebook group the other day, actually, so do come and join us if you're not in the Facebook group. If you can come up with just a slightly different idea, you could have a very popular, really awesome book. You know, we've put in stuff for education. Think about classes, think about school. I know it's a little early, we're in April now, but people will start buying back to school books probably around June, July. And there's homeschoolers, they need to keep track of records. They might want to keep track of the goals for the kids. They might want to include sort of class ideas. And now you've got like tools like ChatGPT and Wikipedia if you're a bit more old-fashioned. You can get some ideas just to add a little extra content to your book just to make it more interesting. Like you can still build a medium I'm still confused what medium content is. I think it's like a low content book with a little extra content in it. But you could take a simple sort of classroom planner schedule. We've got all the templates and tangent templates, and then just add a little bit of your own content, maybe some lesson ideas, class ideas, or vocabulary words. Like, think about this. It's not just about school. Think about classes. Like, for example, I go to a lot of improv classes. I really love doing improv. I take a lot of classes, and I noticed that people don't tend to like writing notes on their phones. They tend to bring journals or books along. And I've actually been working, I haven't finished it yet, so I'm probably going to put it out there and someone else will do it, which is fine because I've got plenty of other things going on. But I've been working on an improv journal because I thought it would be really cool if you could keep track of things that are specific to improv classes, like what kind of scenes that you did in the class, what exercises you did, who was present, who the teacher was, any good quotes from the teacher, anything you want to look up later. That would make a great low content book. I bet there is, in fact, I know there isn't one like that at the time of recording. But if you're learning a language, you could put vocabulary words in there. If you're learning an instrument or sort of to sing, you could have a specific workbook for learning to sing. Like, there's so many niches that really aren't tapped. You can make these books in an evening. Like, this doesn't have to be a big investment. So I feel like we need to move away from this idea of like just put lined paper in a book and stick covers on it and see how many books you can make. Because, I mean, yeah, you might get sales. If you can come up with something very unique to put on the cover and you've got some really unique keywords, great, go for it, especially if you've spotted something that isn't already all over Amazon. But if not, then think about people's needs. Think about what drives someone to go to their computer, to go to Amazon.com and look for a particular type of book. It all comes down to people's needs. Either something they've done, and think, one thing I find helpful is to think in terms of past, present, future. Like people like to write down their memories, their stories, their bios. People like to do things in the present, like mind map, brainstorm, and people like to plan the future. They like to schedule things. They like to think about what's in the future. So if you think about past, present, future, a lot of niches in there. Another trick I like, I coined a phrase a long time ago in one of my courses, NEST, needs, emotions, seasons, trends, NEST, N-E-S-T. And I think that's always helpful because if you can come up with a book that meets someone's needs, so like, I don't know, if it's a symptom tracker for a particular disease or something, that's something they need. The emotion might be fear, or the emotion might be, I want to fight this disease. So you could, like, the way you name the book, the type of wording you put in there, that could capture the emotion. Also think about seasons. Like, is there a particular season something's going on at the moment? Like, I don't know, people have coughs and colds in the winter. People clean and organize their house in spring. And the other thing is trends. Look at what's trending. What kind of things are people into at the moment? You know, there's always like trending animals like llamas or alpacas or, I don't know, piggies, froggies, whatever it is. There's always something trending. Or it might be an activity. Like everyone I know at the moment is playing pickleball. It just seems to be a thing. Like everyone I meet is like, ooh, I'm playing pickleball this weekend. Keep an eye out for those things. They're trends. And the more you can like bring all those things together, needs, emotions, seasons, trends. I don't know, you can have the winter pickleball elbow. I know someone who's got pickleball elbow. It's a thing. The winter pickleball elbow symptom tracker with an alpaca on the front. Maybe a little too specific, but you kind of see, like, if you can bring more of those elements together, needs, emotions, seasons, trends, you can have a book that might be very successful. Maybe you could have the next bullet journal. Maybe you could have the next passion planner. There's so many things you can do. We are not going to run out of books Books are not going to be dead until ideas are dead. And hopefully you're creative. You're a creative person. I believe in you. Your ideas are not dead. And if you feel like they are, if you feel you're struggling, come and join us in our Facebook group. I would love to sort of help you brainstorm, think about how to market a book. And remember, you have a world of marketing out there. Like, you can reach people at book fairs, you can go and reach out directly to specific groups or people. We have email, we have TikTok, we have all these ways to connect with people. It's really not that hard to market and to put something out there and to talk to people. We have this amazing way of connecting with people. So guys, I hope this was helpful. I'd love to hear what you think about whether books are dead. I really hope that you don't think books are dead. If you're struggling, come and join us. We'll see if we can help you out. We'd love to. If you're enjoying these videos, please do remember to do all the things, like, subscribe. Then you'll get notifications when we make more videos. And remember to join our Facebook group. And buy Tangent templates. It's awesome. It has the interiors for all kinds of books. And our designer tool is out of this world. You can create and edit all the templates now. You can put all your own spin on everything. And you can create covers now. It's so cool. We have a really nice cover designer. You can put a book together very, very quickly. You should be able to put a book together in an evening with a bit of extra content, make it interesting. I think that's far more valuable than pumping out a ton of lined notebooks. But if you want to make lined notebooks, absolutely, you can do that too. We have all the interiors for pretty much any kind of standard sort of book you want, whether it's graphs or knitting or shorthand. We have all those interiors plus a lot of specialist things like spell paper. Oh, and also people love collections. They love keeping track of their collections. One book that I had that sold pretty consistently was a perfume review book where you can just keep track of your perfume collection and review each of the perfumes you have. So people use books for all kinds of reasons. Just really tap into those niches and use what you know. Use what you love. Keep your ears open. Look out for conferences going on. Look at billboards around you. And you'll come up with so many ideas. It just takes one great idea. And maybe you can have the next $1 million book. I hope so. All right, guys, have a good one. Bye.